When it comes to religion, South Carolina has its share of churches, from Baptist and Catholic to Methodist and Lutheran.
And while it's no surprise that Christianity is the most prevalent religion in the state, the second most common might surprise you. Not Islam or Buddhism or Judaism, it's the Baha'i faith.
Mandy Noell explains in an in-depth report why a time of civil unrest in our state led to a surge of new followers for the faith that flies under the radar.
Baha'is embrace diversity and what they call the oneness of humanity, meaning accepting black, white, male, female, anyone as equal and one. That notion of equality is the opposite of what many people faced in South Carolina decades ago, and even still today. An aversion to inequality so rooted in racism and intolerance is what drew so many South Carolinians to the Baha'i faith.
Since we have created you all from the same substance, it is incumbent on you to be even as one soul.
Today, Baha'is gather, some several times a week, in community centers and homes around the state without fear, though that wasn't always the case. The religion started in present-day Iran, founded by a man named Bahaullah in 1863. The son of a minister to the Shah of the then Persian Empire, Bahaullah was destined to inherit his father's position, but was accused of blasphemy when he declared he was the messenger of God.
He was imprisoned, stripped of all his wealth and position. His whole family and he were exiled.
Bahaullah and his teachings survived.
The basic teachings of the Baha'i faith are that we believe that there's one God, there's one creator.
They believe the many religious teachers throughout time are, like Bahaullah, manifestations of God for that time period.
We see them as coming at different stages in history, different periods of time. None of them overlapped in their missions.
Fast forward to the 1900s, a time when segregation was not only rampant, it was law.
The Baha'i faith was initially introduced in South Carolina in the early 1900s.
Then things started to change as Jim Crow laws were struck down in the mid-1960s.
There was a tremendous upsurge in interest in the Baha'i faith in the late 60s in particular.
As the civil rights movement took its hold on the country, people gravitated to the Baha'i faith's core values, the oneness of humanity and embracing diversity.
I grew up in a Lutheran church, very strong, went to church all the time.
But Margie Nelson didn't like what she saw when times started to change.
I was very concerned about justice and injustice, and knew that some African American members who were trying to join our church, and they did, but some of the people at the church really did not like that, and that didn't make sense to me. I became a Baha'i in 1978.
It wasn't easy for Baha'is in South Carolina.
If it would not have been safe for a group like this to gather, a number of decades ago.
A very present danger presented itself for anyone who strayed from the norm in a time when laws had changed, but who it was acceptable to be seen with had not.
The building was shot at. We've had dead animals left on the grounds. All sorts of rumors of what took place out here because there was mixing of races.
Despite all of that, the religion exploded in the state.
Estimates are 15 to 20,000 at that time. If you turn on the light in a room that's dark, that light shines. That was the Baha'i faith in South Carolina, focusing on the oneness of humanity.
And that light shone brightest in the Grand Strand, Low Country, and PD.
Dillon and Marion counties, southern Florence County, but throughout Darlington, Horry County, Georgetown, Berkeley County, a little bit in Lee, a little bit in Clarendon. So that was the initial, that was the largest grouping of Baha'is.
To further outreach in the community,
promoting love, peace, and unity, 90.9 FM, Radio Baha'i.
Radio Baha'i hit the airwaves.
I like that song, Smile to Shine. It's all about finding music that is uplifting, positive, and it creates an atmosphere of unity among, hopefully, the community. Stay tuned. We'll have the music coming up for you.
Ernest Hilton plays a blend of music. Turn on Radio Baha'i, and you may hear Tim McGraw, Kelly Clarkson, Pharrell Williams, and Beyonce songs, along with some gospel and jazz. Hilton has been a Baha'i for decades.
And I sort of just kind of wandered inside and talked to someone about the faith. Who are you? What do you do here? And what is this Baha'i faith was all about?
He says he just found what he was looking for.
Diversity of religion, and also talking about the love of mankind and how they can be unified.
Even Baha'is from younger generations.
I have been a Baha'i for like my entire life.
Like Khadijah Gore say, the same values that attracted her counterparts generations ago are what keep her invested.
Everyone is equal. Like, we were all created from the same dust. God's made us all from the same substance.
She's part of the Baha'i Youth Empowerment Program. She was raised in Conway and is spending a year between high school and when she will start college to work with youth in Charleston.
To start like junior youth groups or children's classes or like places where you can have devotion and pray, and like just building up that community.
They don't have a church that you would recognize because they don't have clergy. The Baha'i Center in Conway is home to worshipers from Hemingway up to North Carolina. And they don't have car washes and bake sales to raise money. The only money Baha'is accept is not from outside donations or the federal government, but from other Baha'is. In the studio, Mandy Noell for WMBF News.